Hi, I'm Rupka Bayu, and today I'm taking Say It Loud to the streets to see what people think about interracial relationships. So, Aquia, do you believe it's possible to be pro black and date outside of your race?
That's a really good question because with the events that are happening around the world to black people, white violence against black people, a lot of people it's on people's tongues at the moment. Me personally, I think pro-black means embodying everything that is blackness, that is the culture, the values, the people, and that includes love. Now, you're also denouncing white supremacist values, which is the structure they built around oppression. You're saying I don't want to be a part of that anymore because it's destroying my family, and you're wanting to create new families and a generation that have black empowerment, have black confidence, and you want to raise and build black wealth as well. So if you are pro black, I believe you pretty much make a decision to love black people, and it comes with it. It's like a consciousness that you have. You would not even think twice, and you would pretty much fall in love with a black person. With that said, if you do date outside your race, you'd pick someone who shares these values, who are also pro-black, who love black culture and want to be a part of it.
You mentioned the idea of building a black family and that being an essential part of pro blackness. In the Western world, out of all the ethnic minorities compared to Asians, Arabs, South Asians, black people have the highest rate of interracial marriage and interracial relationships. Why do you think that is?
It depends on the country. For example, Australia, there isn't a lot of black men out there, and no offense, but there's not a lot of, I wouldn't say successful, but guys that are, your suits that are owning their businesses, that have a lot of wealth that can take care of you. You don't have a lot of that in Australia, for example. As a result, you'll have people just mixing it up unconsciously because you fall in love with whoever you're around, and you pretty much pick love based on what's available to you in the pool that you're in. And I think a lot of the reasons why people are mixing it up is not conscious. They're not actually saying, "Oh, I'm going to date outside my race." It's just they're allowing themselves to fall in love, and fall in love with what's around them. And it's that selection and that choice that you have that's almost limiting who you'll raise a family with.
That statistic is not only true for Australia, it's true for places like America, throughout Europe. Many often imply that this is because of issues of self-hatred. Like, for example, Middle Easterners, South Asians, they don't really have as high of a rate of interracial marriage as we do, even in other countries like the United States. Do you feel like that our issues of self-hatred or issues of not being as in love with our culture as others is a relevant thing?
I think so. I mean, you have to understand that black people, we have come from a history of oppression where we had colonials that had actually built schools and churches founded on teaching people to hate black skin and teaching black people to hate themselves. So it's almost like, when you've had generation of that kind of education in you, you do tend to almost react in a particular way, and their reaction has been to almost date outside their race. So I do agree with that to a certain extent because I think you can come out of that. I mean, I'm black and I'm in love with a black man, and I've chosen a black man for the sheer reason that history has just done too much damage to them, and now I just completely embody my culture. And I would have had a phase where I did kind of think that way and had that issue of insecurities and whether I'm good enough or worthy. But yes, that has something to do with it, but we're in a modern world where everyone knows better. We know better. There's so much things accessible to us that we can read. You can read about the Moors, you can read about the kings and queens of Egypt. You don't have to go to school to do that. You can Google on the internet, go to a library. So the resources available to us. So that's not enough of an excuse anymore for you to say, I've been oppressed, I've got identity issues. You need to break outside that cycle.